The sky was clear that night when the signal first arrived. Deep inside the great observatory, where humans watched the stars for secrets, a sharp beep cut through the silence. The scientists gathered quickly around the glowing screen. Their eyes were wide with shock. This was no ordinary noise. It was a message, a call for help from far away, from a place beyond anything they had ever known. For years, humans had searched the vast black ocean of space, hoping to find signs of other life. And now, finally, there it was. A signal came from a distant star system, one that no one could explain. The machines translated the strange sounds into words. The message was clear and desperate. Aliens were calling for help. Inside the control room, Dr. Maya Singh stared at the screen. She was the lead scientist on the project. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "This is the first real contact. They are in trouble. They need us." But the room was filled with tension. Not everyone felt the same way. Commander Harris, the head of Earth's space defense, frowned. "We don't know who they are. They could be a threat. We must be careful." Outside, the world waited. News spread fast. People everywhere watched the news with mixed feelings. Some wanted to send help immediately. Others feared it was a trap. The question hung in the air. Should Earth respond to this alien distress call? Leaders from every country held emergency meetings. They argued for days, debating the best course of action. Could Earth afford to risk a dangerous encounter? What if the aliens were hostile? Or worse, what if they asked for something Earth could never give? Meanwhile, the signal kept repeating. It was like a cry from the stars, growing stronger each day. Scientists worked around the clock to understand it better. They learned that the aliens' technology was damaged and their planet was under attack by a powerful enemy. Despite the danger, some felt that ignoring the call would be a betrayal of everything humanity stood for. After all, Earth had faced its own disasters many times. Could they really turn their backs on others in need? Dr. Singh stood before the council, her eyes filled with hope. "We are not alone. This is a chance to prove that humanity is strong and kind. We must answer their call, but with caution." Commander Harris was still unsure, but he agreed to prepare a response team. The world watched as Earth's fleet began to move toward the distant star system. But this was no ordinary rescue mission. Humans had learned from history that kindness alone did not always protect them. They remembered stories of past invasions and battles where Earth had barely survived. Now, they were ready to show that if anyone came to Earth with danger, they would face a powerful defense. As Earth's ships moved through the cold darkness, the aliens watched from their broken ships. They were weak and desperate, hoping for help. But what they did not expect was the fierce strength of Earth's response. The first meeting between the two races was tense. The aliens sent a small team to communicate, begging for peace and aid. But the humans stood firm, their faces hard and determined. The alien leader was shocked. "Why do you not answer our call with kindness?" he asked. "We are dying and ask only for mercy." But Earth's answer was clear. "We do not show mercy to those who bring war. If you come to us, be ready for the strength of humanity." The air grew heavy with tension. Both sides waited, knowing that this moment would decide their fate. The distant stars watched silently as the future of two worlds hung in the balance. And deep inside the Earth's fleet, a new power was awakening. A power born from years of survival and struggle, ready to protect humanity at any cost. Distress call was just the beginning. What came next would change everything. The alien ships moved slowly through the cold emptiness of space, their engines weak and faltering. Inside the largest ship, the alien leaders gathered, faces filled with worry. They had sent the distress call hoping for help, but Earth's response was not what they expected. Instead of warmth or kindness, they faced a cold, strong force. As the Earth fleet approached, the alien captain stared at the glowing ships on the screen. "They come prepared," he whispered, "not with open hands, but with weapons ready." His voice was quiet but full of fear. The aliens had never seen such power from a species they thought might be weaker or less advanced. The human ships formed a tight circle around the alien fleet, shining bright in the darkness. The silence between the two groups was thick and heavy, like the moment before a storm. The human commanders made it clear. This was not a friendly meeting. The aliens must explain themselves or face consequences. On Earth, Commander Harris stood on the bridge of the flagship, eyes sharp and watchful. "We cannot take risks," he told his officers. "We answer their call, but we protect our planet first. They ask for help, but we will not let fear rule us." The aliens sent a small envoy to meet the humans. The envoy was made up of the most trusted leaders, hoping their words could calm the tension. When they met face to face, the alien leader spoke with a soft voice. "We came seeking help because our world is dying. Our enemy is powerful. Please do not see us as a threat." But the human commander's answer was firm. "Your request is noted, but trust must be earned. We will help only if we see no danger to Earth or its people." The aliens looked at each other, unsure what to do. They had hoped for peace and kindness. Instead, they met suspicion and strength. The humans were not the weak beings they had imagined. They were fighters, survivors ready to defend their home no matter what. Back on the alien ship, whispers grew louder. Some wanted to retreat and hide. Others argued they should try to fight or find allies elsewhere. The decision was hard. The aliens were desperate, but they knew Earth would not give help easily. Meanwhile, Earth's fleet prepared for any possible outcome. The soldiers trained, systems checked and rechecked. No one wanted a fight, but everyone was ready if it came. The world held its breath, watching this meeting of two very different species. Suddenly, an alarm rang out on the alien ship. Sensors detected something moving fast, a third party approaching. Neither Earth nor the aliens knew who it was, but its arrival changed everything. The new ship carried an unknown message filled with warnings and danger. The aliens looked at the humans, fear and hope mixed in their eyes. "We are not alone in this fight," the alien captain said. "If we want to survive, we must decide quickly." Commander Harris nodded. "We will face this new threat together, but the rules have not changed. Trust will grow only if actions prove it." The stage was set for more than just a rescue mission. It was the start of an uneasy alliance, filled with tension, hope, and the need to fight for survival. What came next would test both species in ways they had never imagined. The stars watched silently as two worlds prepared for what might be the greatest challenge they had ever faced. And somewhere, in the darkness beyond, the unknown threat waited, ready to change the fate of all. The stars stretched endlessly, cold and distant, as both Earth's fleet and the alien ships hovered in tense silence. But beneath that silence, memories stirred. Memories of past struggles that shaped the humans into what they were today. Inside the Earth Command Center, Commander Harris sat quietly, eyes fixed on the screens before him. He remembered stories from his childhood, tales of Earth's dark past, when humanity faced terrible threats from the skies. Each story told of courage, loss, and the will to survive. Those events had changed humans forever. They had taught them to be careful, to trust slowly, and to prepare for anything. Across the void, the alien captain paced nervously. The desperation in his people was growing. Their homeworld was still under attack, and their hope was fading. But the humans' cautious strength made the captain wonder if there could be a different path, a way to earn trust. The two sides remained distant, yet they were linked by something deeper, the shared fear of an enemy no one fully understood. Earth's leaders finally decided to share a fragment of their history with the aliens. Through holographic images and old records, they revealed the painful memories of invasion attempts and betrayals humans had survived. The alien leaders listened, in silence, absorbing the weight of Earth's past. This wasn't a people who would give help without reason. They had learned to protect themselves fiercely, shaped by years of struggle. But among the humans, there was more than just caution. There was also curiosity and a hidden hope that this meeting could be the start of something new, something stronger than fear. The aliens sent a small group to Earth, invited under strict watch. When they arrived, the humans observed them closely yet tried to show respect. The alien visitors were unlike anything Earth had seen before, strange shapes, unfamiliar sounds, but eyes that held stories of pain and hope. In quiet talks, both sides shared their fears. The aliens spoke of the terrible force attacking their home, a power that seemed unstoppable. The humans shared their determination to protect their planet and their willingness to stand against threats, no matter where they came from. As days passed, small bridges formed between the two peoples. Scientists worked together trying to understand the alien technology and learn more about the common enemy. Soldiers trained side by side, preparing for the challenges ahead. Yet, the trust was fragile. A single mistake could shatter everything. Both sides knew that the future depended on more than words. It would be tested in action. Then, unexpectedly, the enemy made its presence known. A shadow moved beyond the distant stars, a dark force moving swiftly toward the alien home world and Earth. The warning came through alien sensors and human radars alike. It was clear. The time for talks was ending. The time to stand together was beginning. Commander Harris looked at the alien captain, a silent understanding passing between them. The past was heavy, but the future demanded unity. The stars held their breath as two very different species prepared to face a challenge that would test their courage, their strength, and their will to survive. In that moment, something new was born, a fragile alliance not yet built on trust, but on the shared need to protect everything they held dear. And as the dark force drew closer, both Earth and the aliens knew this was only the beginning of a greater story. One where hope and strength must come together, or both could be lost forever. The vast emptiness of space suddenly felt alive with tension. The dark force approached faster than anyone had expected, casting long shadows across the stars. Both Earth's fleet and the alien ships braced for what was to come. Though neither side wanted conflict, the reality was clear. They would face this challenge together or fall apart trying. On Earth's flagship, Commander Harris stood by the main window, watching the horizon of stars grow closer to danger. His mind raced, but his voice was steady when he spoke to his officers. "This is the moment we have prepared for. We must stand strong, not just for ourselves, but for the future of both our worlds." The alien captain stood beside him, eyes fixed on the distant shape of the incoming threat. "Our technology is weaker," he admitted quietly, "but our will is not. We must combine what we have." As the enemy ships came into view, a strange silence fell over the scene. No words were needed. Both sides understood the stakes. The dark shapes moved with purpose, and the ships of Earth and the aliens formed a united front. The battle was not one of anger, but of survival and defense. The fleets moved carefully, using every tool and tactic they had learned. The human ships used their advanced shields and engines, while the aliens contributed their knowledge of the enemy's weaknesses. The first clashes were tense. Beams of light danced through space, bright and powerful, but there was no shouting or rage, only focused energy and determination. Every move counted, every decision could change the outcome. Despite the pressure, moments of hope appeared. Human and alien pilots shared signals of encouragement. Repairs were made quickly. Plans adjusted as new information came in. On the alien ship, the captain watched as the humans adapted to the enemy's tactics with skill and calm. "They are not just survivors," he said to his crew. "They are fighters who protect what they love." But the enemy was strong and clever. At one point, a sudden attack struck Earth's fleet, causing damage to a key ship. Alarms blared, and crews worked fast to fix the harm. The humans did not panic. They stayed calm and focused, showing the resilience that had brought them this far. The alien leaders realized that this fight was bigger than either species alone. Trust began to grow, not from words but from actions, working side by side under pressure. Back on Earth, people watched the battle unfold on their screens. Fear mixed with pride as they saw their defenders face a mysterious enemy with courage and skill. The message was clear. Earth would not stand down. After hours of battle, the enemy ships started to retreat, pushed back by the combined force of humans and aliens. But the victory was not complete. Both sides knew the fight was only beginning. Commander Harris turned to the alien captain. "We have shown strength today," he said, "but we must prepare for what comes next." The alien captain nodded. "Together we are stronger. Together we will survive." As the fleets regrouped, a quiet promise filled the space between them. This alliance would hold, not just for war, but for the chance to build a better future. The stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, as if watching a new chapter begin, one where different worlds stood united against the darkness. ChatGPT said, "The silence after the battle was almost heavier than the fight itself. Pieces of broken ships floated through the quiet dark, reminders of what had just happened. Earth's fleet and the alien ships moved slowly now, scanning, repairing, and counting those still standing. There had been no celebration, only relief and a deep silent understanding that what they had faced was only the beginning." Inside the Earth flagship, Commander Harris sat in the strategy room, surrounded by screens and blinking lights. His uniform was marked with dust and signs of the long hours, but his mind was focused. Messages came in from every ship, reports, questions, damage updates, but he ignored most of them for now. Instead, he stared at one screen showing a strange energy reading. It wasn't part of the enemy fleet, it was something else, something new. On the alien vessel, their captain received the same signal. He and his scientists worked quickly, studying the strange pulse that now echoed across space. "This is not one of ours," the captain whispered, "and it is not from the ones who attacked us either." Both sides knew something was wrong. This new signal pulsed like a heartbeat, calm, steady, but unnatural. It didn't match any known pattern or code. Earth's scientists believed it could be artificial intelligence, or something even older, something forgotten by time. The humans and aliens had barely recovered from the recent battle. Ships were damaged, people were tired, but there was no time to rest. The source of the signal had to be found. If it was a trap, they needed to know. If it was a warning, they needed to listen. So they moved together, one fleet, one purpose. The journey took them to a hidden corner of space where light seemed to bend and stars flickered unnaturally. There, deep inside a dead zone, they found it. It wasn't a ship, it wasn't a station. It was something ancient. A structure, floating in the dark, shaped like a ring, glowing faintly with energy. No one on either side could explain its origin. The technology was beyond anything either race had seen. It didn't welcome them. It didn't speak. It simply waited. Commander Harris stood at the viewing window. "Why now?" he asked aloud. "Why reveal itself after the battle?" The alien captain joined him. "Maybe it was hidden," he said. "Or maybe it was watching." A joint team of humans and aliens was sent inside the structure. What they found changed everything. Symbols lined the walls, written in a language neither group fully understood. But they weren't alone. In the chamber, in the center stood a tall, silent figure. Not alive, but not entirely dead either. It appeared to be a guardian, possibly the last of its kind. The guardian activated when the team stepped closer. Its voice echoed through the space, speaking, in many tongues at once. Though not fully clear, one message came through with chilling certainty. "Balance has been broken. The Watchers must awaken." The team left the structure with heavy minds. Whatever they had awakened or been warned about was older than both of their worlds combined. Back in the fleet, panic started to rise. Was this new presence friend or foe? Was the first enemy only a distraction from something greater? Commander Harris held a meeting with both sides. "We can no longer act as separate species," he said. "From this moment on, we stand as one." The alien captain agreed. "Our future depends not just on strength, but on trust. We were strangers when we met. Now we must be allies." Outside the ship, the stars seemed to shift. A calm before something larger. The ancient structure remained silent, but its message had already taken root. A greater test was coming. For the first time in history, humans and aliens shared not only a battlefield, but a vision, a promise to face the unknown together. Even if they didn't understand everything, they understood each other. And somewhere beyond the stars they could see, something stirred, watching, waiting, ready to test if this new alliance was strong enough to stand. The moment felt endless, silent. Stars surrounding the joint fleet as it hovered near the ancient structure. Earth and the alien ships remained still, engines humming low, lights dimmed to save energy and avoid detection. Everyone was watching the same thing, the ring-shaped object, floating in space like it had always been there, waiting. But waiting for what? Inside the command chamber of the Earth flagship, Commander Harris reviewed every piece of data they had collected. The strange pulses, the language on the walls, the message from the Guardian. None of it formed a full picture, but one truth had become clear. Something older than both civilizations had been awakened, and its attention was now focused on them. "We didn't just answer a distress call," Harris said quietly to his staff. "We may have stepped into a story that began long before either of our species were born." Meanwhile, the alien captain and his advisors held long discussions with human scientists. They compared myths, deep space records, forgotten signals, and ancient ruins from their own planets. Slowly, a theory began to form. There had once been watchers, beings who kept balance across galaxies. But when that balance was broken, the watchers vanished, or perhaps they simply went silent. The signal the fleet had discovered seemed to be a beacon, a test, maybe even a challenge. To confirm their suspicions, a second joint mission entered the ring structure. This time they reached a lower level, where they found something unexpected. A long corridor filled with preserved records. Moving lights showed images from a time, so far back it felt like a dream. Whole star systems working together, great machines building peace instead of war. But toward the end of the corridor, the images changed. Harmony faded. The balance broke. One race, never named, rose too fast, consumed too much, and tipped the scales. The final image was a single star, burning too brightly, then fading into darkness. The team returned to the fleet with these discoveries. They all realized one terrifying possibility. If balance was broken once, it could break again. And the mysterious enemy they had already faced might not be a true enemy at all, but something the Watchers had left behind. A warning, a barrier, maybe even a test. Suddenly, the ring began to spin. Lights flowed through its structure like a heartbeat. Not aggressive, not angry, but purposeful. Earth's ships received a signal. So did the alien ships. It was a message made of symbols, repeating over and over again. One human linguist finally cracked a part of it. Prove harmony, or prepare to fade. The message wasn't directed only at humans or aliens. It was meant for both. Together, they had triggered something ancient. And now they were being asked to prove they could build unity, not just fight side by side. The alien captain turned to Harris. "If we fail this test, the Watchers might not return. But something else might," Harris nodded slowly. "Then we don't fail." The two leaders stood together looking at the spinning ring. It wasn't a threat, it was an invitation, a final step. They had fought, they had worked together. Now they had to build something lasting. New stations were planned. Technology was shared. Even names were exchanged not as ranks but as friends. A council was formed, made of both species to speak for peace and prepare for whatever the Watchers or the universe would send next. The stars, once silent and distant, now seemed like open doors. And as the ancient ring pulsed one final time, before going quiet, both Earth and its new allies understood. The distress call had not only changed their present, it had rewritten their future. Together, they would not just survive. They would rise.